Ladies and gentlemen, you ever met someone who just sticks with you, not because they tried, not because they begged for your attention, but because there was something about them, something real, something undeniable? That's power. That's presence. And right now, if he can't stop thinking about you, it's not by accident. See, the world is full of distractions. People forget names, they forget faces, they forget words. No one can forget words, but they don't forget how you made them feel. They don't forget the way you walked into a room like you belonged there. They don't forget the energy you carried, the respect you demanded. Not with arrogance, but with certainty. If he can't stop thinking about you, it's because you're more than just a passing thought. You're an experience. You've set a standard. You've given him something that lingers, something that echoes even when you're not around. And that, my friends, is where your power lies. Not in trying to be remembered, but in being unforgettable. So don't chase validation. Don't shrink yourself to fit into someone's mind. Instead, expand. Be bold. Be unapologetic. Be so full of purpose, so full of truth, that thinking about you isn't a choice. It's inevitable. Because when you know who you are, they won't just think about you. They'll never forget you. Thank you. Dream big, but work bigger. We all have dreams. We all have visions of what we want to be, what we want to accomplish, how we want the world to see us. Some people spend their whole lives dreaming, thinking that one day, the right moment, the right opportunity, the right person is going to come along and change everything. But let me tell you something. Dreams without work, that's just imagination. And imagination without action, that's just a wish. See, if he can't stop thinking about you, it's not just because you exist. It's because of what you bring to the table, what you've done, what you've built within yourself. You don't just show up. You show out. You don't just exist. You make an impact. That's what keeps you on his mind. That's what makes you unforgettable. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who make you sit back and go, wow, there's something about them. It's not just their looks. It's not just their words. It's their presence. It's the energy they bring when they walk into a room, the way they carry themselves, the way they don't just dream of something, they put in the work to make it happen. That's what separates the people you remember from the ones you forget. And let me be clear, it's not about working hard to impress someone. It's about working hard to become the person you were meant to be. The kind of person that leaves an imprint, not because they try to be remembered, but because they refuse to be ordinary. There's a difference between someone who dreams and someone who does. You might have the biggest dreams in the world, but if you're not willing to step up, to show up, to put in the effort, then you're just another person with a wish. And let's be honest, wishes don't keep people up at night. Effort does. Drive does. Excellence does. If he can't stop thinking about you, it's because you represent something bigger than just a fleeting moment. You represent a standard. You represent someone who doesn't just talk about what they want, but someone who moves with purpose. And when you move like that, when you carry yourself with that kind of determination, that kind of confidence, you become impossible to forget. People are drawn to energy. They're drawn to passion. They're drawn to those who live their lives with intention. That's why the ones who dream big, but also work bigger, are the ones who stay in people's minds long after they've left the room. Because it's not just about being there, it's about making an impact while you are. So let me ask you, what are you doing with that dream of yours? Are you just holding on to it, hoping that one day it magically turns into something real? Or are you putting in the work, refining yourself, building yourself into the kind of person that demands to be remembered? Because if you want to be unforgettable, you've got to give them something worth remembering, not with empty words, not with surface-level charm, but with substance, with consistency, with something real. Dream big, yes, but don't stop there. Work bigger. Move with purpose. Become someone who isn't just thought about, but someone who matters. Someone who lasts. Someone who, no matter where life takes them, leaves a mark that no one can erase. It's not about impressing, it's about imprinting. There's a difference between someone who turns heads and someone who changes minds. A difference between someone who makes an entrance and someone who leaves a mark. You see, impressing people is easy. Anyone can do it. You wear the right clothes, say the right words, smile at the right moments, and for a second, just a second, you've got their attention. But attention fades. Moments pass. What really matters isn't whether you caught their eye, it's whether you stayed on their mind. Too many people are obsessed with impressing others. They think if they look a certain way, act a certain way, say the right things, they'll be unforgettable. But that's not how it works. Because people forget appearances. They forget words. They forget surface level charm. What they don't forget, what they can't forget, is the way you made them feel. Think about it. The people who changed your life, the ones who left an imprint on your heart, they didn't do it by simply impressing you, they did it by impacting you. They did it by showing you something real. Whether it was strength, kindness, passion, wisdom, or resilience, they didn't just perform for you, they connected with you. And that is what lasts. Now, if he can't stop thinking about you, it's not because you wore the perfect outfit or had the perfect smile. It's because there was something about you that stuck with him. Something deeper than looks, deeper than charm, deeper than the moment you shared. You see, when you truly imprint on someone, they don't just think about you because you were there. They think about you because you changed the way they see things. You challenged them. You inspired them. You brought out something in them they didn't even know was there. That's why it's not about trying to be impressive. Because when you focus on impressing, you're putting on a show. And what happens when the show is over? The audience leaves. The applause stops. But when you imprint on someone, you don't need the stage. You don't need the spotlight. Because it's not about them watching you. It's about them feeling you, even when you're not around. There's a reason why certain people linger in our minds. It's because they stood for something. They had depth. They had presence. They had something more than just an image. They had a purpose. They weren't just trying to be liked. They were being themselves, fully, unapologetically, fearlessly. And that's what makes them unforgettable. So if you want to be remembered, stop chasing attention. Stop worrying about who's impressed by you. Instead, ask yourself, what kind of impact am I making? What kind of energy am I bringing? Am I just someone they see, or am I someone they feel? Because at the end of the day, attention fades, but impact lasts forever. Confidence is silent, impact is loud. You ever notice how the loudest person in the room is usually the least certain? They talk the most, they boast, they make sure everyone hears them, but deep down, there's doubt, there's insecurity. Because real confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It walks in and speaks without a word. True confidence isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's not about making people notice you. It's about knowing who you are so completely that their approval or their doubt doesn't shake you. You don't need to be the center of attention because you are the center of presence. You don't chase validation because you carry certainty. And that kind of presence, that's what people don't forget. If he can't stop thinking about you, it's not because you were the loudest voice in the room. It's because something about you made an impact. Maybe it was the way you carried yourself. Maybe it was the way you handled a situation with grace. Maybe it was the way you listened more than you spoke. Whatever it wasn't noise. It was depth. Because the truth is, people don't remember what was said as much as they remember what was felt. And the ones who make the biggest impact, they don't have to demand attention. They don't have to perform. They don't have to prove. They simply exist in a way that commands respect, curiosity, and admiration without ever having to ask for it. Think about the people who have impacted your life the most, the ones who made you pause, who shifted something in you. Were they the ones constantly trying to prove themselves? Or were they the ones who moved with certainty, who had nothing to prove but everything to offer? See, confidence isn't about being the loudest, the flashiest, the most noticed. It's about being so sure of yourself that people feel your presence before you even speak. It's about walking into a room knowing that even if no one looks, even if no one claps, even if no one acknowledges you, you are still you, and that's more than enough. And that's why impact is loud, because when someone moves with that kind of certainty, with that kind of quiet strength, it sticks. It echoes long after they've left. That's why he can't stop thinking about you, not because you tried to impress him, not because you demanded his attention, but because you didn't need it, because you were fully yourself, and that was powerful enough. The world teaches us to chase attention, to be loud, to make sure we're seen. But the truth is, the ones who leave a mark are the ones who don't need to be seen. They simply are. They don't beg for attention, they become unforgettable. So don't waste time trying to be noticed. Be so complete in who you are that noticing you is inevitable. Move with quiet confidence and let your impact speak for itself. Being unforgettable isn't a gift, it's a choice. Some people walk through life thinking that being unforgettable is something you're born with, like it's some rare quality only a few people have, but that's not true. Being unforgettable isn't about luck. It's not about genetics. It's not about having the perfect face, the perfect body, or the perfect words. It's about how you choose to show up in the world every single day. See, you don't remember people because they were just there. You remember them because they stood for something, because they made you feel something, because they were different, not by accident, but by choice. The way they carried themselves, the way they spoke with purpose, the way they made you think, the way they didn't shrink to fit into someone else's expectations. That's what made them unforgettable. If he can't stop thinking about you, it's because of the choices you made. The choice to be bold, the choice to be honest, the choice to be unapologetically yourself in a world that constantly tries to make you doubt who you are. That's what lingers in his mind. Not just how you looked, not just the sound of your voice, but the way you made an impact. Think about it. How many people do you meet in a lifetime? Hundreds, thousands. And yet only a handful ever really stay with you. Only a handful make you pause and reflect. Why? Because most people go through life trying to blend in. They play it safe. They say what they think others want to hear. They do what they think they're supposed to do, and in the process, they become forgettable. But the ones who leave a mark, they choose differently. They choose to be real. They choose to be intentional. They choose to live in a way that demands to be remembered, not because they're trying to be impressive, but because they refuse to be anything other than themselves. It's about presence. It's about standing firm in who you are, in what you believe, in how you treat people. It's about carrying yourself with the kind of energy that makes people sit up and take notice, not because you ask them to, but because they can't help it. And let's be clear, it's not about trying to make someone think about you. It's about choosing to be someone worth thinking about. Someone who speaks with depth, who moves with purpose, who doesn't just take up space, but adds something to it. That's what makes an impression. That's what makes you unforgettable. So if you ever wonder why certain people linger in your mind, why their presence stays with you even after they've gone, it's because they made a choice. A choice to live fully, to love deeply, to walk through life without fear of being different. They didn't ask permission to be themselves, they just were. And that is what lasts. Now, ask yourself, what choice are you making? Are you choosing to play it small, to dim your light, to be what the world expects? Or are you choosing to show up fully, boldly, without apology? Because if you want to be unforgettable, it starts with that choice. And once you make it, trust me, nobody will ever forget you.